What's good, bro? How you feeling?
All good, man. Big drop day.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to say that on the radar freestyle was crazy too.
I appreciate it.
Nah, no doubt. Congratulations on another dope project. How you feeling about it?
I feel great about it, man. It's been a long time coming. I'm real excited. Like, normally, any other time in my career, when I dropped the album, I always was nervous. But this time, I don't really got that feeling. Like, I feel more relieved than anything that I finally was able to get it out, like, after all this time.
Yeah, you took your time on this one.
Yeah.
What was the process behind that?
Um, I'm a real perfectionist. I ain't gonna lie. Like, down to the last moment, I try to change as many things as possible to get it as close to perfect as possible. I know ain't nothing perfect, but that's how I always wanted to be. Like, I'm real serious about my music, so the process of just going back and forth, working with different producers. Like, originally I was working with just one producer in his camp. Then I ended up, like, really just going off of how I felt about certain songs and adding them on, and just kept on doing that throughout the whole process. Like, changing everything according to what felt right to me.
Yeah, you mentioned that you didn't feel nervous on this rollout. How do you feel the project itself is different from your previous works?
It's definitely a elevated sound to it. Like, me being so deep into life at this point, and deep into my career also, like, I think my music is taking a more mature standpoint. Like, I always had that tone in my music even early on, but I feel like now more than ever, though, like, just coming into adult for real. I'm 25. My son 5 years old. I'm getting deeper into fatherhood, so a lot done changed since my first 2-3 albums.
I could hear the elevated sound, and it seems like you open up more. And you talk about being a father. Actually, one of the songs I wanted to ask you about was Letter to Pops, because you talk about a lot on that. You open up a lot about your relationship with your father and being a father. Talk about that song in particular and making that one.
Yeah, that song really came about. I was really going through a situation where I wasn't seeing eye to eye with my pop. And that's what really inspired it, like, taking my frustration out in the music, but turning it into something positive. Like, really trying to let him know how much I appreciate him. He never even heard the song yet, so it's going to be a shock to him today for sure.
Nah, that's what's up. What made you decide to call it Hood Poet?
I feel like it's a reflection of who I am as a person and an artist, like being a real spokesperson for my hood. And it's like the title is also like a summary for what the album is all about.
I want to go through some of the tracks, and don't worry, this isn't going to come out till after the project comes out. I think you set the tone with the intro track, God's Favorite.
Yeah.
That shit goes crazy.
I appreciate it.
Talk about that song.
I locked in with a producer named Nick Paps. He a fire producer. That originally wasn't even supposed to be my intro. That's something that I changed, like, within the last 2 months of me getting ready to drop my album, man. Hearing the beat for the first time, I played the beat while driving on my way to the studio, and I started writing to it, like, right then and there, like, not physically, but, like, in my head, like, I know what I want to say on this, though. And I got right to the stew, and like I'm saying, I wasn't supposed to put it on my album, but that was actually my label call. Like, I played it for them. They was just asking for new music that I created, and I played it for them. They was all going crazy in the studio. So that's what changed my mind about it. Like, because I wanted something to really, like, hit the fans in their face on the first song.
It did that. Because it caught me. I was like, oh, shit. I had to play it a couple of times. The next song, No Recruits with you and G Herbo. Talk about that one, man. Chi-Town connection right there.
No Recruits came about. Me and Swerve, we always just link up in the stew. Whenever he in Cali, whenever we in Chicago, we just always link up. It's always easy to make songs with him. I feel like we built a good chemistry over the years. I've been probably working with her since I've been new to the rap game, and he always just been rocking with me for real, like showing me a lot of support. So that was just another night in the studio for us.
Next one I want to ask you about, it was a real like nice vibe. Same Me with you and Friday.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite songs on there. I actually didn't know whether or not that song was like a collaboration song for us, because somebody sent it to me as a beat, and then and the way that the song was set up, I thought it was like a sample thing, and I just kept from what he had as a hook as a placeholder for a hook, and it ended up turning out to be a collaboration. So I really feel like that's one of my better songs or my favorite songs off the album.
Definitely goes. Was Bad Kids featuring Glorilla one of the songs that you were talking about, how you started dealing with different producers?
Yeah, it not really though, cause I had a song originally produced by the camp that I was working with originally with Glorilla, but I end up swapping it out for Bad Kids because Bad Kids was so hard to me. And the original song that I had, I just sent it to her like, I feel like this your vibe, we can go crazy. But Bad Kids, we was in the stew. I think somebody sent her that beat, and the song was really built off of conversations that we was just having in the studio, so it was real organic. I feel like that's why it came out so well.
It did. I like the back and forth too.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites too.
Absolutely. The last one I want to ask you about is probably one of my favorites, Survival of the Fizz with you and Future. That one was crazy.
Yeah, I made that song in Atlanta, locked in with ATL Jacob. I had 2 songs for Future to get on, one being No Time Wasted that was released already, and Survival of the Fittest. I pulled up on him in Miami. He knocked both of them songs out in all of probably 20 minutes, like crazy. Like Future definitely one of my top artists that I wasn't really able to appreciate him as much as until like I got deeper into the music industry and knew the processes that I had to go to and see him firsthand. I feel like he a really dope artist.
Definitely, man. Definitely. Talk to me about the state of Chicago hip hop, because it seems like it's in a good place, and it seems like that for the past, I want to say 4 or 5 years, that you guys have really been collaborating with each other.
Yeah, it's in the best position it done been in a while. Like, I think this one of the strongest waves we done had since like 2018, where artists is like me, Cowboy, and Lil Zay blowing up at the same time. And before that, it was really just the drill era. So every 4-5 years, we always get something going again. I feel like right now is the time. Like, we got a lot of artists in the city going crazy.
What do you think makes Chicago so special? Because you guys do have that history and just like a long line of just dope artists.
We one of the most, from a music standpoint, we one of the most authentic cities. Like, we tell real stories, real vivid stories about our experiences in the city. And, you know, just the swagger of Chicago, you can't really get that nowhere else.
Facts. Who'd you listen to growing up? I know you mentioned Future. Who else?
I listened to Herb, a lot of G Herbo, a lot of Lil Wayne.
Yeah. What was it about them that just caught your ear?
Lil Wayne is like his lyricism, every song, every bar, he hitting you with something to think about. It's like still to this day, I'm grown now, and I'm just now getting his bars that I heard when I was a kid. Herb I had somebody who somebody that knew him, so he was putting me up on game, like putting me up on him like early on before he really got popular and famous. And I always felt like, I thought he was like some 30-year-old dude, dark skin, big brolic dude, his voice deep. I'm thinking it's a grown man rapping the whole time. He's 16, 15. I'm like, nah, this crazy. I was just always tied in to what he had going on since then.
That's real. I thought the same thing when I first heard of that. You see it like, oh, shit. Last couple of questions, man. What does hip-hop mean to you?
Hip-hop mean everything to me. Hip-hop saved my life. I feel like beforehand, it wasn't nothing that I could do right. And just perfecting my craft and growing closer to hip-hop as a whole really helped me find a new spark within myself.
What's that one moment in hip hop that you always remember that just sticks out? And it could be anything. The first time you performed somewhere, the first time you saw something, the first time you heard something.
I remember it being really infatuated with Ludacris videos. My favorite video of his was Throw Them Bows. I always used to be excited or waiting for that video to come back on. Like I think that was one of my first ways of knowing that I was in love with hip hop.
Absolutely. That was a classic too.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, man. Congratulations on another dope project for real, man. I'm seeing the growth and the evolution.
I appreciate it.